Hello, first grade. Today we are going to be working with Chapter 9, Lesson 5. So I need you to make sure you have a pencil ready to go. And I need you to also have your math book so that it is open to page 661. Now, today we're going to have to get a little creative because we are not in our classroom together. And so I cannot be there to give you all of these shapes to use, which makes me super sad. But we have to use what we have. So if you happen to have shapes like this at home sitting around, then go grab them. But if you don't, like me, then I have shared with you two different apps that you can use to go on. So you can either ask mom or dad to use their phone in addition to your iPad during this, or you can just wait until the video is over. And then once you don't have to watch the video anymore, you can open up those apps to help you do your independent work. Because I'll go through all of the guided practice using my shapes on my screen with you. Okay, so get ready, take some deep breaths, because it's going to be a little bit different today, but we can do this. Are you ready? Okay, so today we're going to be talking about something called composite shapes. Now, we've been learning all about shapes that we've learned for years. You've known a circle, a square, you've seen those shapes before. But now what we're going to do is we're going to use some shapes that we've been learning about, like the trapezoid and the triangle and the squares, and we're going to make new shapes out of them. Shapes that don't even really have a name, but we can build with our blocks, with our shapes, to make new shapes because that's how the world around us is built. Not everything is just a circle or a square or a triangle or a trapezoid, right? Okay, so let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how to make this shape here. Now, if you look over here at my screen, guess what? I can make that shape just all on its own. That's called a hexagon, first grade. It is 6 sides, okay? But it's asking me how many trapezoids, these red blocks, I can use to make this hexagon. Hmm. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to pull one of my trapezoids over and set it up top. Ooh, look, that looks just like the top of the shape. And then I'm going to try another one because remember, I'm only using this shape for now. Now, if I put it like this, that doesn't make much sense, does it? It doesn't look right. So I'm going to use this little arrow and I'm going to spin it the best that I can. Doesn't have to be perfect because who is, right? And now look, I have made my shape. So one of the things that I want to point out right from the beginning is that not all of the shapes are going to stay exactly as they are. You may have to move them around. And if they were sitting in front of you, it'd be a lot easier for you to manipulate them, for you to move them. But again, we're working with what we have, first grade. So how many of these trapezoids did it take us to make our hexagon? 1, 2. So go ahead and write a 2 on that line. I actually forgot to open up my writing tool. So you're just going to have to, up here, I think I can do this. Oh, look at that. We're improvising. There we go, 2. All right. So now it's asking us to make a trapezoid instead. So I'm going to put my trapezoid there because that's going to show me what it needs to look like in the end. And it's asking me to make it using triangles. So how many triangles are we going to need to use to make a trapezoid? So I'm going to stick one triangle over here first. We'll leave it looking like that for now. Well, I'm going to put another one here, but that doesn't look right. So I'm going to spin it and see if it can go together differently. Okay, so that's starting to look better. Okay, so now it looks like this side of the shape. I see my line and then a flat line, so I'm thinking I might need another triangle over here. There we go. And look at that. Now I have made a trapezoid out of triangles. So how many did I use? Count them up and write that on the line, and then we're going to see how you did. Okay, so let's see. I used 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to write a number 3 on my line. All right, I'm going to erase mine so that I can turn my page. You can also turn your page to the guided practice. And then I am going to clear my board so that we can look at a new board. All right, so up at the top here, it says you can put together shapes to make a new shape. This new shape is called a composite shape. So we're going to use these two shapes and we're going to make it into this. It looks like the roof of a house, if you ask me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my triangle down here. And then this is called a parallelogram. I have that right here. But I want it to look like this house. That definitely does not look like it. So I'm going to shift it like this and put it right up next to it. And there we go. So do you see? They're going to give you the shapes today. And they're going to ask you to kind of fiddle around with them, move them, play around with them, and see how they can fit together in different ways to make different shapes. Okay, I'm going to move this one up top just because we have other ones to do. So there's my first one. But now looking at number 1, they give us 4 different shapes. And it says use 2 of the pattern blocks to make each shape. So we're going to use 2 pattern blocks to make, ooh, what shape is this? Say it out loud. I hope you said rectangle. So it's a rectangle. It has 2 short sides and 2 long sides. So what do we think we're going to need to make this rectangle? Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that this parallelogram does not look like it's going to fit very nicely inside of here. This doesn't have any slanted lines. And so it's probably going to be hard to make a shape out of only 2 of these because look, if I put them next to each other, they're slanted. My lines on this rectangle are not slanted. So there we go. All right, so let's try, oh, squares. Well, that might be a good choice because I see that that looks like it might fit there. And then if I add another one, because I do have 2 of them there, there's my rectangle. So what you can do is, here, I'm going to show you with mine. I'm going to use orange since that's the color of the squares. I can draw a line straight down the middle, the best that I can. That's not exactly the middle. And draw my 2 squares inside. You can just do this with a pencil, or if you would like to get crayons and do it with a crayon, go ahead. Okay? All right, we have one more on this page to do. We are going to make this shape. What is it? I hope you said triangle. Okay, so now we're going to make a triangle. So let's think, what would make sense to be part of our triangle? Well, if I start with a square, that's going to be pretty boxy down here. That doesn't seem to make much sense. A triangle is probably going to be used maybe at the top, right? It could be the pointy side. So then what would my bottom be? Which of these other 2 shapes would make sense for the bottom? Do you think the trapezoid makes sense or the parallelogram? Well, looking at it, I see that this has 2 pointy sides when it's sitting down. I also see that from the trapezoid, so I'm going to put a trapezoid underneath. And there we go. There is my large triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in my trapezoid. And again, I'm going to use the colors that they are, but you do not have to. You can just use your pencil. And then I'm going to draw my triangle on top, because those are the two shapes that I used to make that large triangle. So go ahead, take the time to do that. If you want to pause and catch up a little bit to draw your shapes, you can do that, and then just unpause when you're ready to move on. All right, I'm going to erase all of my marks so that we can move on. We're going to turn to the problem solving page. All right, so number 7 says circle the pattern block that can be used 2 times to make this shape. Okay, so we're only going to use one of these different blocks, but we're going to use it 2 times. So let's see, which block looks like it would fit into the bottom section here? What do you think? Well, I'm not thinking that my triangle will make much sense. Um, the parallelogram doesn't look like it will fill that whole thing on the bottom. That's a different shape. My trapezoid looks like that, so I'm going to put that here. And remember, we're using the same shape twice. So then I'm going to pull another one up, try to put it on top, but that doesn't look right. So what if I spin it? There we go. Look at that. So I want you to go ahead and circle the trapezoid because that's the shape that we used twice to make this composite shape. All right, first grade. Now, this last one, we don't have blocks. We don't have, these are called attribute blocks. We don't have them to show circles, to do half circles, but what I want you to do is think, how many of these half circles does it take to make a full circle? So what do you think? If I had a block that looked like this, how many of them would I need to make a full circle? Well, if I draw a line straight down the center of my circle and around the outside, there's one half circle. That looks like this block over here. And then if I would take another one and just flip it around, I could put it right next to it, and there would be my other one. So how many did we use altogether? We used 1, 2. So we'll write a 2 there. All right. All right, I'm going to erase my page, and we're going to turn back to the independent work. Now, first grade, what you're going to do is after this video is over, which it's almost over, you are going to be able to open up, so go back into your classwork section and this assignment, and there's going to be an app link there for you to click on. There's going to be 2 different ones. You can choose which one you want. There's one that looks exactly like mine, and there's one that looks a little bit different, but they're basically the same thing. I just put 2 there in case one's not working for you. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the shapes just like I've been doing and pull them over and move them so that you can find ways to make these shapes. And then, so you're going to do that for numbers 3 and 4. You're going to have to find ways to make the shapes that they have here for you. Numbers 5 and 6, you're going to use these 4 shapes that they have given you, no other shapes, just those 4. And you are going to make whatever shape you want. So I have a triangle, a square, a trapezoid, and another triangle. So let's see. I'm going to pick 2. Let's do the trapezoid and the square. There, that's my composite shape. So then I would draw that down here. But you're going to try to do your own, okay? So do that for numbers 5 and 6, and when you're done, you are all done for today. Okay? Try your best with what we have. and I will see you for math tomorrow, first grade.